There are luxury handbag brands that people bought for $3,000 5 years ago that now sell for $600 on the resale market. An 80% value collapse. Bags that were supposed to be investments became financial sinkholes. And the worst part is that millions of people are still buying these brands at full price today, thinking they're making smart luxury purchases, while resale data screams the opposite. If you bought any of these 9 brands in the last 5 years thinking they'd hold value, you just watched thousands of dollars evaporate. Here's which luxury bag brands lost all their prestige and why their resale prices are in free fall. 1. Gucci lost 70% resale value in 3 years. A Gucci Marmont bag retailed for $2,300 in 2019. On resale platforms today, it sells for $650 to $800. That's a 65 to 72% loss. The brand that was the most sought-after luxury label 5 years ago is now hemorrhaging value faster than any major luxury brand in history. Here's what the data shows. According to Rebag's 2024 Claire report, Gucci bags retain an average of 28% of their retail value after 3 years. That's catastrophic for luxury. Hermes bags retain 103% of retail value. Chanel retains 87%. Gucci retains 28%. You're better off buying almost anything else. But here's why this happened so fast. Gucci expanded distribution aggressively between 2015 and 2020. The brand went from exclusive boutiques to Nordstrom to Saks to department store clearance sections. By 2020, you could buy discounted Gucci at Nordstrom Rack and online outlet stores. When a luxury brand appears at outlets consistently, resale buyers know the market is flooded. They won't pay premium prices for something available at 40% off retail. The other killer was logo fatigue. Gucci's double G monogram and web stripe were everywhere from 2017 to 2020. Influencers wore it. Celebrities wore it. High schoolers wore fake versions. The market became saturated with Gucci branding to the point where carrying a Gucci bag stopped signaling exclusivity. It signaled that you followed trends from 5 years ago. Here's the resale reality right now. A Gucci Dionysus that costs $2,800 new sells for $900 used. A Gucci Soho Disco that retailed for $1,200 sells for $400. The bags aren't defective. The brand equity collapsed. People aren't willing to pay luxury prices for a brand that lost its luxury positioning. If you bought Gucci bags thinking they were investments, you're sitting on assets that lost 70% of their value in 3 years. That's not an investment. That's a financial disaster wrapped in leather. 2. Louis Vuitton monogram. Canvas. Can't sell. Brown-coated canvas with LV logos. The most recognizable luxury pattern on earth. Also one of the worst-performing assets in luxury resale. A Neverfull that costs $1,760 new sells for $800 to $950 used. A Speedy 30 that retails for $1,340 sells for $600 to $700. These bags are losing 45 to 55% of their value the moment they're purchased. Here's why monogram canvas collapses in resale. Not leather. It's durable and weather-resistant, but it's fundamentally plastic-coated fabric. Resale buyers know this. They're not paying leather prices for canvas products, no matter what logo is printed on them. But here's the bigger problem. Louis Vuitton monogram canvas has been counterfeited so extensively that authentication has become nearly impossible for average buyers. The fakes are so good that even experienced resellers struggle to distinguish them from authentic pieces without professional authentication. This creates massive buyer hesitancy. People won't pay premium prices when they can't be certain they're getting authentic goods. The market data is devastating. Monogram canvas LV bags retain an average of 48% of retail value according to luxury resale platforms. But here's the catch. That's the average. Popular entry-level pieces like the Neverfull and Speedy retain closer to 40% because the market is flooded with them. Everyone bought the same bags, and now everyone is trying to resell them simultaneously. Meanwhile, Louis Vuitton leather bags without monogram canvas retain 65 to 75% of their value. The brand itself isn't the problem. The monogram canvas specifically collapsed because it became too common, too counterfeited, and too associated with entry-level luxury buyers. If you're holding monogram canvas LV bags expecting them to hold value, you're watching your investment depreciate faster than a new car. The logo that was supposed to guarantee value is the exact thing destroying it. 3. Coach bags are worth nothing. On resale, Coach bags have essentially zero resale value. A bag that retailed for $400 sells for $40 to $80 used. That's a 90% loss. This isn't luxury depreciation. This is complete market rejection. Here's the brutal market reality. According to resale platform data, Coach bags retain an average of 15% of their retail value. Some pieces sell for as little as 10% of retail. This is worse than fast fashion. At least fast fashion never pretended to hold value. Coach sold bags as luxury items that would last forever and hold their worth. They don't. But here's why the collapse was inevitable. Coach trained customers to never pay retail by running constant outlet sales at 60 to 75% off. When bags are permanently available at massive discounts, the retail price becomes fictional. Why would a resale buyer pay $200 for a used Coach bag when they can buy new Coach bags at outlets for $150? The outlet strategy destroyed any possibility of resale value. Resale markets work on scarcity. If something is rare and desirable, people will pay premium prices on secondary markets. Coach bags aren't rare. They're available at 50 outlets in every state at permanent discounts. There's no scarcity. There's no demand. The resale value collapsed accordingly. Here's what this means for anyone who bought Coach. You bought products marketed as luxury investments. You got accessories that depreciate like electronics. The brand lied through positioning. That's not luxury. That's a scam with better packaging. Michael Kors resale is below 10% of retail. Michael Kors might have the worst resale performance of any brand ever positioned as luxury. That's a 90 to 95% value loss. Here's how bad it actually is. According to Poshmark and Mercari data, Michael Kors bags frequently sell for less than 10% of their original retail price. A bag that cost $400 new struggles to sell for $40 used. Many sellers can't move inventory even at these prices. The market is flooded with used Michael Kors bags that nobody wants. But here's why this happened. Michael Kors positioned itself as accessible luxury, which is marketing speak for not actually luxury but priced higher than mass market. The brand expanded to outlet malls and department stores so aggressively that by 2015, Michael Kors products were available everywhere at massive discounts year-round. The financial consequences were catastrophic. Michael Kors stock collapsed from $98 per share in 2014 to $15 in 2019. The brand became so devalued, they changed their parent company name from Michael Kors Holdings to Capri Holdings to distance themselves from the damaged brand. Here's the resale disaster. When a brand collapses in the primary market, the secondary market follows immediately. Resale buyers won't pay significant money for brands that are financially distressed and losing retail relevance. The Michael Kors name went from aspirational to clearance rack in 5 years. The resale market reflects that reality with brutal honesty. Anyone holding Michael Kors bags hoping they'll appreciate is delusional. These bags are worth less than 10% of retail and dropping. You didn't buy luxury. You bought overpriced mass-market accessories with luxury marketing. 5. Tory Burch can't hold value. Either Tory Burch positioned itself as preppy American luxury. The double T logo was everywhere from 2012 to 2018. Then the resale market spoke. Bags that retailed for $400 to $600 sell for $80 to $150 used. That's a 70 to 80% loss. Here's what the data reveals. Tory Burch bags retain an average of 22% of retail value according to luxury resale tracking. But popular styles like the Fleming and Robinson bags retain even less because the market is oversaturated. Everyone bought the same bags, and now everyone is trying to sell them with no buyers. But here's the positioning problem. Tory Burch was never actually positioned as investment-grade luxury. It was positioned as accessible, preppy style. The brand lived in department stores and ran frequent sales. This retail strategy is incompatible with strong resale value. Resale requires scarcity and desirability. Department store brands don't have either. The other issue is trend dependency. Tory Burch bags were fashion-forward in the early 2010s. The quilted leather and prominent double T logo scream 2014 fashion blogger. Resale buyers don't want looks that are visibly from a specific era. They want timeless designs that work across decades. Here's what this means financially. If you bought Tory Burch bags thinking they were smart accessory investments, you lost 75% of your money. The bags aren't defective. They're just not luxury goods that hold value. Kate Spade collapsed to fast fashion resale values. Accessible luxury. Then Coach bought the brand in 2017 and immediately expanded distribution. By 2019, Kate Spade was in outlet malls, selling at 70% off year-round. The resale market responded by treating Kate Spade like fast fashion. Here's the financial devastation. Kate Spade bags that retailed for $300 to $500 sell for $30 to $80 on resale platforms. That's an 85 to 90% loss. This is below Zara pricing. You can buy new Zara bags for more than used Kate Spade bags sell for. That's not luxury depreciation. That's brand death. But here's what killed the resale market. Kate Spade flooded outlets with products specifically manufactured for outlets. These weren't overstock or past-season items. They were cheaper versions made with inferior materials specifically to sell at outlets. Resale buyers can't distinguish between retail Kate Spade and outlet Kate Spade, so they assume everything is outlet quality. This destroys pricing power. The authentication problem makes it worse. Kate Spade is heavily counterfeited. The fakes are good enough that casual buyers can't tell the difference. When authentication is difficult and the price gap between real and fake is minimal, buyers just walk away entirely. Why risk $80 on a potentially fake Kate Spade when $80 buys guaranteed authentic brands? Here's the resale reality. Kate Spade bags sell for less than their material cost. You're not recovering money on these items. You're disposing of them at a loss so severe it's cheaper to throw them away than ship them to buyers. 7. Fendi lost prestige and resale value simultaneously. Fendi bags were iconic in the late 90s and early 2000s. The baguette bag was a cultural phenomenon. Then the brand spent 15 years trying to recreate that success and failed. Resale prices reflect that failure. Bags that retail for $2,500 to $4,000 sell for $800 to $1,400 used. That's a 60 to 70% loss. Here's what the resale data shows. Fendi bags retain an average of 38% of retail value according to Rebag's Claire report. That's better than Gucci, but still terrible for a brand positioned as high luxury. Hermes retains 100%. Chanel retains 87%. Fendi retains 38%. But here's why Fendi collapsed in resale. The brand relied too heavily on logo-heavy designs and trendy styles that date quickly. The peekaboo bag with the FA logo was everywhere from 2015 to 2019. Now it looks dated. Resale buyers don't want bags that scream a specific era. They want timeless designs that work in 2025 and 2035. The other problem is inconsistent quality. Fendi expanded production to meet demand and quality control suffered. Buyers report issues with hardware tarnishing, leather quality varying, and construction inconsistencies. When a brand charges $3,000 for a bag, quality must be flawless. Fendi's wasn't. Resale buyers know this and price accordingly. Here's the financial reality. If you bought a Fendi bag for $3,500 3 years ago, it's worth $1,200 today. You lost $2,300 in value. That's not an investment. That's an expensive mistake. The Fendi name doesn't command the prices it once did, and resale markets reflect that truth immediately. 8. Balenciaga crashed after controversy and trend exhaustion. Balenciaga was the hottest luxury brand from 2016 to 2021. The city bag, the giant bag, the motorcycle bag with signature hardware were must-haves. Then came the 2022 controversy and simultaneous trend exhaustion. Resale prices fell off a cliff. Here's the market collapse. Balenciaga bags that retailed for $1,800 to $2,500 now sell for $600 to $1,000 on resale platforms. That's a 60 to 70% loss in value, but the velocity of the decline is what matters. These bags lost value in months, not years. That's panic selling. But here's what happened. The 2022 controversy damaged the brand's image severely. Simultaneously, the fashion cycle turned against the mid-2010s aesthetic that Balenciaga represented. Distressed leather and oversized hardware suddenly looked dated. The brand's cultural cachet evaporated almost overnight. The resale market responded with brutal efficiency. When a brand falls out of favor culturally, resale buyers immediately discount everything associated with it. Balenciaga bags that were selling for 70 to 80% of retail in 2021 were selling for 40 to 50% of retail by 2023. The trajectory is still downward. Here's the long-term problem. Balenciaga's designs were trend-dependent. They worked when distressed luxury was in fashion. The bags don't have timeless appeal to fall back on. They're dated artifacts of a specific fashion moment. Resale values reflect that reality. You're not buying timeless luxury with Balenciaga. You're buying trendy products that depreciate like fashion. 9. Bottega Veneta's Intrasita can't hold prices. No logos, just woven intrecciato leather. The brand positioned itself as understated luxury for people confident enough not to need branding. Then resale values told a different story. Bags that retail for $2,500 to $4,500 sell for $1,000 to $1,800 used. That's a 55 to 65% loss. Bottega Veneta bags retain an average of 42% of retail value according to luxury resale tracking. That's disappointing for a brand positioned as ultra-premium timeless luxury. When your marketing is "this will last forever and never go out of style," a 58% value loss in 3 years is brand failure. But here's why this happened. Bottega Veneta changed creative directors multiple times between 2016 and 2021. Each new director brought a different aesthetic. The Daniel Lee era introduced trendy designs, like the cassette and pouch bags that sold well initially but dated quickly. The intrecciato weave that was supposed to be timeless started looking like it belonged to a specific era. The other problem is recognition. No logos means no instant brand recognition. Resale buyers shopping online can't flex a Bottega Veneta bag because most people don't recognize it. This limits demand in resale markets where status signaling is a primary purchase motivation. People want bags that others will recognize. Bottega's entire positioning works against that. Here's the financial calculation. A Bottega Veneta bag that costs $3,800 new sells for $1,600 used. You lost $2,200. The no-logo positioning was supposed to make these bags timeless investments. Instead, it made them unrecognizable in resale markets where brand recognition drives prices. You paid for discretion and got depreciation. Here's what resale prices actually measure. They measure real demand from buyers spending their own money without marketing influence. Retail prices are whatever brands claim products are worth. Resale prices are what buyers actually believe products are worth. The gap between those numbers reveals everything about brand positioning versus brand reality. When Hermes bags resell for 103% of retail, that's real demand. More people want Birkins than Hermes can produce. Scarcity plus desirability equals value retention and appreciation. When Gucci bags resell for 28% of retail, that's market rejection. Too much supply, too little demand, and a brand that overexpanded until it destroyed its own positioning. Here's the pattern across all 9 brands. They expanded distribution, chased revenue growth, and sacrificed exclusivity. Short-term sales increased. Long-term brand equity collapsed. Resale prices are the report card showing which brands maintain prestige and which ones destroyed it, chasing mass market appeal. The brands that lost prestige share these characteristics. Heavy discounting at outlets. Over-reliance on logo recognition. Trend-dependent designs that date quickly. Massive expansion that destroyed scarcity. Each decision increased short-term revenue while killing long-term value. But here's what luxury buyers missed. They bought these brands at retail thinking they were investments. They saw marketing, positioning, and price tags and assumed that meant lasting value. The resale market revealed the truth. These brands weren't investments. They were depreciating assets marketed as luxury goods. If you bought any of these 9 brands expecting them to hold value, you just learned an expensive lesson about the difference between luxury marketing and actual luxury. The bags in your closet lost 60 to 90% of their value while sitting there. That's not investment-grade luxury. That's financial disaster wrapped in leather and sold with a smile. The prestige is gone. The resale prices prove it. And if you're still buying these brands at retail today, you're making the same mistake others made 5 years ago while watching their investments evaporate in real time.